Welcome back to the Nose Plays Endless Space 2 and my look at the brand new faction, the Umbral Choir. This is part 3 of the video series, so if you haven't seen the other two parts, I recommend that you go back and watch part 1 and part 2 to see how we got to where we're at today. I want to start by pointing out a strategy, a tactical play that I chose to make at the beginning of the game, and explain why I think it is the better tactical choice than to do another option that you have. So let's talk about those two options. First of all, let's zoom out to this level. And you can see that I have spent a lot of time colonizing each of these individual nexus. I guess I'm just going to call them a nexus. These individual crescents, these basically act as planets for us. We start in our home system with one of these active, and we have access to 4 additional ones that we can colonize right from the beginning of the game. We don't have to research anything. Another thing that's interesting about them is they are all identical, and so they are all cold and they are all sterile, and that is an important distinction, that they are all the same, and you need to understand why that's important. We also have another option right from the beginning of the game, and that option is to upgrade individual planet slots or individual nexi into larger versions of themselves. These larger versions not only have more population, which you can see in the bottom left hand of the screen, more population slots available to them, but they also yield more resources. And so each population, when working this particular planet, if it were upgraded, would yield an additional industry, science, and influence per turn. Okay, so the question then is it better to go ahead and max out your individual planets and upgrade them and give your population slots a little bit more efficiency in their yields? Or is it better to grab individual planets? The cost of that first upgrade is about 250, and I don't know if each one is the same. The cost of colonizing this is roughly double that. So it takes longer to colonize than it does to just do an upgrade. So what's the better choice? Well, in my humble opinion, the better choice, almost emphatically, almost without doubt, is to grab as many of these planet slots as you can nearly as quickly as possible. And I say nearly because there is one caveat to that, and that is you need to have your core buildings constructed. The core buildings, which are found here, are the industrial refinery, or refrains in our case, the cyber farm, and the interstitial sciences building. The reason that these buildings are important is because they add additional resources automatically just for having them built. But it's also based on the number of planets that you have acquired. And what's interesting about the way that this faction works is it not only counts the planets in your home system, of which we have 5, so we could get these bonuses up to 5 times, but it also counts planets that you have grabbed via sanctuary cities. So once you have these 3 core buildings down, each one of these slots becomes incredibly valuable. Because it's a planet slot, we're going to be getting 10 industry right up front. Because we also have the science building, we're going to be getting 10 science right up front. And because we have those cyber farms, we're going to be getting 5 for the planet and an additional 5 because it's cold. And this is where these factor into this. So that's 10 food, 10 science, and 10 industry just for grabbing this, even if we don't put any population on it. That's what we're going to start yielding. So you could think about that. That's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's 50 of 3 of your most important resources. But more importantly than that, there are future buildings further into the tech tree that we can grab that do similar things. So for example, this building, which is one that I'm going to heavily prioritize in the next little bit, because it's going to be a massive influx of industry once again, nearly doubling our industry probably, with one building. So it's plus 20 per planet, including sanctuary cities. That is huge, and that is a huge bonus that we get. Another thing to keep in mind is that this applies to all of our sanctuary cities. So for instance, this sanctuary city, you can see, is a temperate sanctuary city. So we'll actually get an additional 10 industry because it's temperate, and an additional 10 science because it's temperate. So grabbing temperate and fertile planets early on as your sanctuary cities is going to yield incredible amounts of resources. So this is why I said it's always the better choice to grab planet slots over these slots, because if we think about what will happen, let's say I go ahead and I upgrade this. So that's going to be 1 extra industry, science, and influence per population. The maximum amount of population that I could have on this planet would be 5. So my net gain for getting this completed is basically 5 times that value. So 5 industry, 5 science, and 5 influence. Now, unless I just really need influence, because I'm not yielding influence for these per planet grabs, there's really no great reason to do this. I get more resources, more varied resources, and larger quantities of them from grabbing planet slots. So that is always the optimal strategy for me. Grab as many planets and or sanctuary cities as you can in the early game, get those 3 core buildings constructed, and watch your economy take off. And you can see our economy is doing pretty well right now. I think we're going to make it even better over the next few turns, as I mentioned, by prioritizing a few things. So I can't put this in the queue yet until we get galactic commodities. Once we get this technology completed, that will unlock this slot here and will give us access to everything in this tier. I believe there are more buildings that give us per trade, or not per trade, per planet bonuses. But we'll just have to kind of mouse over them and see which ones they are. But there's more of them as you move up the trees on both the, I think in this part of the tree somewhere there's another one. But anyways, that's what we're going to be focusing on, our buildings that provide per planet bonuses and grabbing as many planets as we can. This is how we get our economy going. What we do from there, I'm not 100% sure. I think that the 2 victory types that make the most sense for us are possibly a science victory or a wonder victory. But I don't know how the wonder victory is going to interact with our faction since we only have 1 system. It may be unavailable to us, because if I'm not mistaken, normally you have to build multiple wonders in order to win the faction quest for a wonder victory. So that's where we're at. I wanted to get that out of the way. The second thing that I wanted to point out, a viewer in one of my previous videos mentioned the ongoing issues that I've had with microphone troubles. And as a result of that, I went ahead and I did what I could to look at my microphone settings again. I completely uninstalled drivers, reinstalled them, reset everything up, did a very brief test run. And in that test recording, I did not have any static issues, so fingers crossed, maybe this video doesn't have any either, and we finally solved the mystery. I think it might have been a driver issue that was causing the problems, but we'll see. Hopefully that is the case, and we don't have any more weird sound effects and gargling in my videos. That would be really nice, because I didn't used to have that until a Windows update kind of goofed everything up. So we're going to go ahead and get started, though. Sorry for that long introduction to today's video, but that's what I wanted to cover today before I forgot about it. So there's not a lot left to do this turn, I don't think, and I think we're actually going to jump right into a election when I hit the end turn button. So let's go ahead and do that. Official support time. Which faction do we want to keep, and which ones would we be willing to let go of? I actually think that the Industry Party might prove useful to us. More useful than the Pacifist Party. At the moment, I think we're in danger of losing the Pacifist Party. However, one thing that we do have going for us is this character is a pacifist leader, and he is also part of the government, and that gives us certain bonuses that we wouldn't normally get. If the Pacifist Party is no longer part of the government, then we will no longer have a hero on our government, and so we'll miss out on some of those bonuses. So I am going to actually put my official support behind the Pacifist and try to get them to hang on. We have been doing a lot of industry related stuff lately, which is why this is growing. But that's what we're going to do for now. And we'll see what happens. Okay. So we got some new laws, it looks like, maybe. Unlocked the Oracle of Science law. You can research technologies from the next stage of technology. That's actually really useful. In certain situations. Not incredibly useful to us, but we'll see. The Star Boogie Bill gives us extra movement on our ships, so we can do some exploring at high speed. It does cost a lot of influence, especially as your population gets rather large. But it's worth it in particular situations, even for short periods of time, just to get a fleet across the galaxy or to get a scout where you want him. Enabling and disabling this law off and on can really help your mobility. And then the Green Fertility Bill, +2 per population on anomalies. We don't have a lot of population with anomalies on their planet right now. None of our home system planets had any anomalies that I noticed. But some of our sanctuary cities do. And so if we start moving population to sanctuary cities, this might actually be worth enabling. It also provides an additional 5% per anomaly on colonized planet on systems. That could be really powerful depending on how it gets applied. And I'm not sure how it gets applied, so it might be something to look into, but we won't be able to do this until we start moving population to anomalies. That's where it's really going to start to benefit us. Sounds like some kind of hacking operation may be finished up. Yes, the Pacifist Party is no longer the leading political party, so our primary law that was in effect is no longer in effect. We weren't using it anyways, so that's fine. We have rare earth foams research now. I believe it's because I wanted to hack a Mediterranean system, so we're going to be doing that shortly. We also got a new support module, +20 science per destroyed command point in battle. So if you're at a war, it's one way to get some extra science rolling in if you're ahead of your opponent militarily and you don't need the bonus or defensive modules. You can throw those in there. Galactic Commodities Exchange gives us the Miners Union, which is actually quite useful. It will double our strategic resource income, basically, since we have poor deposits on our home system. And we always start with poor deposits on our home system, just so we're not completely shut out of titanium and hyperium. We don't have as much need for those resources because we don't have as many buildings that we have to build. So, but the nice thing about this, the upkeep per turn is 8 dust. We'll be getting 1 titanium and 1 hyperium. Unless prices on those particular resources hit the complete tank, just tank to oblivion, we're always going to be able to make back more than that 8 dust of upkeep. So it's actually worth getting almost in every situation that you have. Um, Strategics rarely get so unvaluable that they're not worth 8 dust per cell. So, and then we actually have access to the marketplace, I believe. So, good stuff so far. Okay. We actually hacked, this was our hack that was going to the vaulters. We have a couple of different things that we can do. We can abduct sleepers. We can scramble navigation. Ooh, that could be really, really detrimental. Prevent all fleet movement for 5 turns. So, the interesting thing about this ability, especially when considering the vaulters, is you can use it for any faction. You can do this, but for the vaulters especially, it has the potential to significantly slow down their ability to colonize new systems. So for example, if we see the Argosy moving about trying to get to a very important system that they would like to colonize, because they get instant colonization, this triggered at the appropriate time would shut their ability down to get to that system, maybe allow you to get it, and at the very least slow down their expansion. This is true of any faction that sends colony ships for grabbing new systems. That's very interesting idea. I don't think there's any reason to mess with their government. I think what I would like to do is infiltrate. One population will become an unwitting sleeper. Yeah, let's do that. Do we have any sleepers yet? We have 1. Okay, this will give us a second one. The Law Oracle of Science has been activated in your empire. We kind of knew that because the scientists took over. And we managed to get most of the atmospheric. So we were first place. 100 dust, 50 influence, and 30 titanium was our reward. Nothing too exciting, but still better that we got it than anybody else. Okay, so lots of things going on here. I think we decided that we were going to start messing with these pirates to some extent, which we will look at here shortly. And I also was going to be hacking to this. Look at all those curiosities. Please tell me this is a scout ship. Yeah. Okay, so we are on our way to scout them. Let's go ahead and get our ships moving first of all. And this guy has a probe that he can use. So we'll go ahead and throw that down. And then we're going to go ahead and send 1 probe down that lane. And we're going to go ahead and travel down this lane. Alright. What do we got? Ying. Huge ash with 2 curiosities. And Ying 2, 3 curiosities on this one. Wow. And 2 more curiosities over here. Holy moly, there's a lot of curiosities around. Okay. I don't think it would... It's not going to be worth it for us in this situation, but I would consider, strongly consider, if I had access to another hero, moving that hero here and scouting all of these curiosities, because that's going to be a lot of XP, and you could get, especially a low-level hero, leveled up rather quickly that way. Unfortunately for us, we only have the 1 hero, and that hero is providing us some significant yields, particularly in dust. I don't think it's a good idea to pull them off of that duty just yet. But I do think it's a good idea to go ahead and start scouting as many of these as possible. Alright. 20% of the galaxy's explored. We located a nebular cloud. Star charts. Nodes have been revealed. That's how the nebular cloud got revealed. And this is actually really good. +3 industry, +2 dust. Molten springs is a great anomaly for any planet, really. Yes, that was the two things that we uncovered. Tons of curiosities over there as well. Lots of XP to be had for ships that are capable of scouting. So this ship is definitely just going to sit here and continue to collect. The other thing we could do is... we still have... no, we're out of move for this turn. It's going to take us several turns to get our probes back. Yeah, I think I'm going to hop back and forth and grab curiosities from both of these. Okay, Galactic Commodity Exchange. We've almost got that completed. We've already unlocked this tier because of our science party taking over. So we can go ahead and queue this up next. And I'm trying to think. Don't really want trade. This building's interesting. All of our buildings are cold, but they are also all sterile, so it actually gives us 5 industry per population pip on our home system, which wouldn't be bad. Okay. We'll just queue up. That's going to be 7 turns for now, and that'll take us a little time. Alright, so last but not least, I think what we want to do is get some hacking operations going. So we currently have 1. Naos to Orion. Where is it at? It says it's going to take 6 more turns before this gets completed. Do we have any back doors? I do have one here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start one from there to there. And that'll take 7 turns. And then I'm going to encrypt. This is already being encrypted, so we don't need to worry about that. Okay, I don't think anything else needs to happen at the moment. I guess we could run encryption here. That takes up more of our bandwidth, but if the pirates catch us, it'll be harder for them to trace us. And then, science-wise, I want to get the other research. Divert, overload, accelerator. This is the one. The accelerator offers 30% extra hacking speed and is really good, and I wanted to play around with that. That's what I was thinking that this one was, but we actually got the piggyback instead of the accelerator when we picked up that technology in one of the previous episodes. So that being said, I think all of our hacking operations are underway, so we can go ahead and end the turn and get moving. Use of titanium in common household products drives up demand. Prices are slightly higher level. That's good to know. We could sell a bunch of titanium right now. Okay, so we now have the miners' union and the marketplace. And we're working on these industrial zones. So we'll be getting those shortly. Economy and trade. Basic system development upgrade to level 2. So now we can do level 2 system developments, which we will definitely take a look at here. Oh. Yes. So we have options. So I can go Dust. I can go Jadonics. I could go Eden Incense. But before I go any of these, we do have access to the marketplace. So let's take a look. Prices per unit to sell. They're selling for 21 per unit, so we could sell quite a few if we wanted to. Let's take a look at the luxury resources on the market currently. Blue Cat Mold might be something we would want to buy, because I believe it's a population booster. There's not enough of anything else on the market to really be warranted in terms of purchasing. We could get some more red zinc, but that's not going to be enough to pop our booster. So I think what we're going to do is, it's going to cost 50. Yeah. We only have two options, more dust or more industry. And I'm of the mind that more industry is more important at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and queue that up. We'll gladly buy that out. I'm just going to queue that and that up. And then I'm considering whether or not we could get this done in a timely fashion. As long as we can keep our approval high, we might be able to get this endless research park, which is really, really good. Even if we just stay loyal. Plus 15% science and plus 15% dust is nothing to sneeze at. Let's move it up in the queue a little bit, though. Let's see. This isn't going to provide a ton of industry, but it will provide a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and buy that out. And I'm going to move that in front of Cerebral Reality. This should be at 11 turns after I end the turn, but because we're going to be getting a bunch of industry, let's see how much it goes down. Could be quite significant. We are still doing really good on our approval, so I'm happy about that. And our hero has gained another level, so let's see, what do we have access to? We've already got 2 levels into persons of means. We could go ahead and get a little bit more industry and a little bit more food, both of which are important right now. Or we could get more bandwidth, which doesn't really seem like we need more bandwidth at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that. All of the population pips that we have are now producing an extra 1 food and 1 industry. That was equivalent of 5 currently. 5 extra food, 5 extra industry per turn. And if you hit this, you can see there's the 5 food, there's the 5 industry. And then the 50 dust. That 50 dust is soon going to be 60 because we're getting 10 dust per sterile and then 10 dust for the entire system. So when this gets completed, it'll be another 10 dust. And that's why I didn't want to pull him out to go do all of those curiosities. Because it would take quite a few turns. He'd be stuck out there for at least another 8 turns, and we don't even have 8 probes worth. It would take a while to get enough probes to do that, probably longer than 8 turns to get all those done. But we'll see. Things are going okay, though. Alright, so 2 of our ships can do some things. We've got a bunch of curiosities over here we can search. We want to search the Mediterranean ones first, because this is the one that we are planning on colonizing. And then from there, I guess, just grab whatever and go to sleep. We have 2 probes here, and there's still a lot of stuff over here that needs searched. Just out of curiosity, how long would it take us to get to there? 7 turns. We don't really have a law that we can drop. This law is pinned because it's a mandatory law whenever that party is in power. So we can't undo this one. We could undo either of these, but I think a 10% reduction in improvement cost is better than getting the ship where it needs to go a little bit quicker. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to look at while I was there. I wanted to verify that it is indeed blue cap mold, and 5 total Umbral acquire is what we need. So if we go to the market, since we got this done, and we go to blue cap mold, we need 5, and we don't have any of this. I'm going to go ahead and buy all of it. There's only 10 on the market right now. We're going to pop this booster multiple times, and we'll probably need to buy a couple more before we're able to do it. But I'm going to go ahead and buy that. And then strategics, we don't really need any of this titanium. We're only pulling in 1 per turn. So I don't want to sell all of it. But let's sell like half of it. Let's sell like 60 of it. Since the prices are high, we might as well get as much as we can. Alright, what did we find? Red Sang, Hyperium, and just XP. This ship has 2 probes we can send out. I guess we'll just kind of send them like that and wait for more probes, because I don't really have anything else to do right now. Let's check our hacking operations, but I think 5 turns and 6 turns away. Yeah, there's not much to really look at here, so another turn down. Alright, what do we got? I got 1 of my probes back. So just keep grabbing these. Alright, so all of these things got completed, and it went down to 7 turns instead of 11, so that was the right call, I think. We got another Umbral Choir, so it's a good thing we bought those because I forgot to pop the booster. We need to go to this screen, and we now have enough to pop this for 10 turns. That means all of our population will be producing a little bit of extra science and bandwidth. So we didn't really lose out on anything too critical. But whenever you have the ability to run one of these boosters, you should be doing it because it's just free resources. In this case, the bandwidth, there are times where this could potentially be very useful for bandwidth purposes, but at the moment for us, it's really just the science that we're getting any benefit from. And it's definitely a benefit, but it's not a ton. Let's take a look at this ship. Yeah, just sleep until we get more. Alright, we have 2. And this system has been taken over by somebody. The red player has a colony outpost on it. So it will eventually become the red player system. I don't think we're going to have enough time to hack it. But we could go ahead and grab the curiosities before they do. So there's an interesting dilemma when it comes to scouting enemy territory. By giving your other players access to resources without making them search for it, you sometimes benefit them. But at the same time, I think it's always better to go ahead and do it for 2 reasons. Number one, there's a fair chance that whatever is in that curiosity is exclusively a reward for you and they don't get anything. There's also the opportunity or the chance that it will be a negative anomaly, which actually hurts them. So you have those 2 things going for you. The other thing is that even if it's just a straight up strategic resource or a luxury resource that that player can use, it also allows that player to start building stockpiles that you can then trade for or will get dropped onto the marketplace and you can buy. So in my opinion, it's almost always worth scouting these curiosities in enemy territory, because the odds of it being something that ultimately benefits you are greater than if it negatively hurts you. Let's say it's a positive anomaly. That one planet's going to have a little bit better output for that player, and it's not going to give you anything significant in return. That's probably not a game-changing problem to have. What's interesting is that this is going to actually happen in 1 turn, so this system's going to be taken over very, very soon. What we could do to minimize the amount of effect they get is we could scout all of these ones, which they don't have access to yet. It's curious that they chose to colonize the Ash planet over the Boreal planet. I'm not quite sure why they did that. This is another little interesting thing. Anytime you see a tier 1 strategic like this and a subterranean curiosity, there's a good chance that this second curiosity is the other missing tier 1 strategic. I don't know if it's intentional or if it just happens to happen that way a lot, but a lot of planets that have a strategic will also have the matching one. Not always, but sometimes they will, and especially if you see this type of curiosity. So I'm guessing this is probably titanium. And I was correct. I don't know why that is. I understand why they might mechanically make it that way, but you can predict these with a fair degree of accuracy. Sometimes it can also be Jadonics or something like that, but there's a high chance that if you have one strategic resource, then you also have the opposite, if there is a subterranean curiosity. Okay, I've got one more probe, and I could search a curiosity, which I think I'm actually going to do. I was thinking of sending my probe down that lane, but what I have instead, since I'm not going to be able to search curiosities for about 2 turns, is I'm just going to send my ship down that lane. I'll just search one of these other ones. Okay. Looks like a quest. So there's our titanium. A load of 20 Hyperium. So this is what I was talking about. We search one of these and we just get a load of something, and it only benefits us. And this happens more frequently than you think. Sometimes they'll get a little something, we'll get a little something, but many times it's worth searching these. And we achieved a quest. Okay, so we completed a quest. So we now have these guys. That actually could be really handy right now. If we could get all of our probes up and running every single turn. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to equip our ship with those without sending it back to friendly space. But since we have some movement, we're going to go ahead and utilize that movement to help uncover this lane and see what's over here. And these look like the... that would be why they didn't colonize that planet. These are the Riftborn. And the Riftborn kind of have an opposite view of homeworlds. So they like really nasty terrible planets for most organisms. And then the really lush green pretty ones are not so good for them. And another quest. Solo quest started. Chapter 2, Seek the Unique. We have one option because this one is only available if you are a Siphon or a Vaulter. Colonize or create an outpost on 2 unique planets in less than 30 turns. We have one of 2. I'm not sure if a sanctuary counts, but if it does, we might be able to do this. If we do, we get a hero. Interesting. He is a scavenger, a seeker, and an industrialist. Okay. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that guy. We can call him Druce. Do we have any unique planets? So if we zoom into this level, we can see these planet types. We can see the filled-in ones are the ones that we can hack to and create sanctuary cities on. The bubbles are ones that we cannot. The little blinking lights are curiosities. If it has a slash through it, that means we can't settle it because of pirates. And I don't see... Oh, there it is. Novarus. So, Tor. We found Tor earlier. Tor is one of the special endless planets. That's a unique planet. We could potentially hack to that, and that would finish that quest. So what we'll have to do is wait until this next hacking opportunity. That's going to be a little while. I might leave this up here just so I can track how many turns, since we don't have a lot of other quests going on right now. But we're still 4 turns away from having a hacking operation available to us, so we'll just keep on going. We just saw the pirates get to a level 2. This means that they're going to have more powerful ships spawning, maybe more frequently. Okay, we got some probes ready. And the next part of our faction quest. So we've achieved 68 bandwidth. We did that by popping the blue cap mold, which gave us a bunch of extra bandwidth per population pip. We now have this bonus from cloaked fleets that we can apply. This special module gives us a little extra science. Could be worth doing. And now we have a new choice to make. Inhabit 7 systems. We're at 5 of 7. We're currently hacking to a 6th. If we manage that, we'll have 6 of 7, so we need 1 more. And then we'll get this Pilgrim, ex-Pilgrim hero. I mentioned earlier in the very first video that if you got an Umbral Choir hero, you could do some cloaking stuff. Somebody pointed out that I had mistakenly read that incorrectly, but something else that I didn't think of. The Umbral Choir may not have an actual hero at the Academy that is available for other players to recruit. I know that there was some new heroes and things that were added, but I don't think that they were actually Umbral Choir characters. I'm not certain of that. I'd have to look it up. But there may not even be an Umbral Choir hero available for other factions to recruit. So that might have been a mistake on my part. Alright. If we do look at our hero, the skill in question was this one of these. Set the fleet anti-cloaking level to 3. So basically, the way I was reading this is that it was going to give that player's fleet a level 3 cloak. What this actually does is it lets you see level 3 cloaked ships. So basically, other players will not be able to cloak their ships from your hero very easily. That is the proper way to read it. Alright, let's get our ships moving. Got a probe. We'll go ahead and grab that one. And we got just a bunch of science. Again, another piece of evidence that suggests that it's better to grab these than to let your opponent grab them. The way I understand it, when the game loads, these are all set to the map. That's why you'll always find, you know, certain ones spread out in different locations if you search enough curiosities. But yeah, it's really, I'm going to skip this. It's really important to grab as many of these as you can. The fact that we've grabbed so many of them is actually going to make that analytical engine that we found produce a fair amount of dust whenever it gets completed. You can go to sleep, and you can go to sleep unless I have more movement I can use, which I do. Yeah, you still have half your movement. Let's go ahead and get you scouting. We can come back through here and try to grab these. Hopefully. The other thing we could do is send this guy that direction. 7 turns is a long time, but... Well, now it's only 6. Oh, it's because we haven't launched any probes yet, so we actually can get there. Let's just go ahead and do it. Let's get over there in 6 turns. And that'll give us more probes to mess with over there. If I'd been thinking, I might have tried to re-equip his ship with that probe that resets all the cooldowns. But, eh. Alright, anything else that we need to worry about at the moment? I don't think so. We're 6 turns away from completing that? Yes. I could buy something out at this point, or I could continue to save up my dust and potentially buy out or buy off a couple of turns off of this technology. I don't think it's going to be small enough for us to do that, so it makes more sense to just utilize our dust on things that we can actually afford. So we'll go ahead and buy that out. It doesn't really matter which of these we put our choir on at the moment. However, we do have ruins. If we get these researched, it might be something that makes this a little bit more valuable. This one is granting us a little bit of extra science and industry, but if I'm put somebody over here, well, let's see, I can put 1 now. And we still stay, okay. So I can put 2 of these over here at the moment, and we still stay at the ecstatic level. So let's just do that for now. As long as we're at static, we're gaining the full 25% food, 25% influence, and we're also gaining 25% science and dust. Devoted, yep. And science, 61 from devoted, so. Okay. End the turn. I could be moving him, but he doesn't really have anywhere better to go. This part of the system, well, I guess he could be going over here. But we'll just finish these off and then we'll head that direction. Fearful Symmetry. 5 turns till the research park is completed. Alright, what do we got here? Interesting. So we can get a random technology. We can get extra influence and dust for a few turns. Or we can get extra science and approval for a few turns. The approval is not all that useful to us at the moment. But then again, neither is anything else. I'm actually thinking of just taking a random science. We could get something really good. Not sure what it was. I really wish it would tell you. We can try and figure it out. It's not those. It's not those. We researched those. None of those. Could be this. It almost has to be this, right? Because I didn't research this. Yeah. This is actually a really good building for us. One that I probably would have eventually researched anyways. There's a number of these can only be built once in Empire buildings. And they're incredibly powerful, although fairly expensive. I think they're really, really valuable for a faction like ours that can only have one city. And so you get to take advantage of all of those only once in my Empire buildings. So that's definitely going to go into the production queue behind some of these other ones. Food is probably the most important one. That building is not all that valuable. And this building isn't either, but it will be worth a little bit of dust once we get all these curiosities scouted. Yeah, we'll just go in this order. That looks good to me for now. Get all of our ships moving that need moved. And no probes for you yet, so... Ooh, what was that? Is it just a snow planet that looks so cool? We'll scout that. Some meat and incense. And we have some movement left over. But we'll probably just wait here a turn and get another probe, and then we'll head back this way. Alright, we should be very close to getting one of our hacks done. 2 turns away. I'm going to try and pick up the pace a little bit here so we can get this video done in a reasonable amount of time. Okay. Get our ships moving. I think this is the last curiosity for this system. And I found just XP. So, not a lot going on over here. Let's get this ship heading this direction for now. And we've got our 1 curiosity on this system we can search. And then we have the ability to start heading back this way. We'll get some more probes and we'll start finishing off those. We have another ship coming up this way that can probably meet up here and help. Nothing on that system. And this ship... what are we doing with this ship? I guess we're just... Oh, that's what we were doing. I got this ship as a reward for a quest earlier. It's a cloaked ship. We're just going to stick it over here. And if we ever decide to do a formal invasion of this fleet, the little bit of manpower that this ship has um, can be used in that fight. So he's got 100 manpower. But it doesn't make any sense to bother yet. We're going to need more ships in order to actually have enough manpower to take down that pirate node if we do decide to do that. Sounds like one of our hacks got completed, which it did. Do we not have a back door already here? Oh, there's levels of these back doors, it looks like. Well, we already have a level 1 back door there, but... we could reduce diplomacy with the pirates, although I'm not sure that we have the ability to do much. I guess we'll just create a back door. I don't know. Hacking operation has been traced. Your hacking operation has been traced back at the very last moment. You can still choose an outcome, but you will suffer penalties on your system. Okay. Go ahead and get some curiosity scouted. There's a negative one for this player to deal with. And we still got some XP. We can see that this node extends this direction. So we're going to want to send a probe down that way maybe eventually. Oh, that is correct. We have a hacking operation. What did we want to hack? We wanted to try to maybe hack this, but it probably would be best to hack it from here, because then we could bypass any players that we might encounter. So I think we're going to wait one turn before we do that, which means we can get a hacking operation somewhere else started, because once that hacking operation is completed in one turn, we can use that free one to run this. Okay, so running this to here gave us a back door. Interesting. Well, we could put another one of those, whatever they're called. Oh, I know exactly what we need to do. We need to start a hacking operation from here to there. Yes, and then we'll start abducting sleepers. So sleepers are very powerful population pips. We'll show those off here in a second. Alright, so this neurorobotics has been researched, so we now have access to a very, very nice industry building, which I'd like to try to get down relatively quickly. We got some more population in our home system. We are going to create a sanctuary on that Mediterranean planet. which is going to give us some significant yields. So let's talk about what exactly we just did with that. So we now have a sanctuary here. Because this is a Mediterranean planet, it is hot and has no other characteristics that we care about. So it's going to be giving us a fair amount of resources. You can see over here on the corner, 10 food, 9 industry, 10 dust, 10 science. A lot of that is coming from those buildings that give per population benefits. Remember that we are reducing the industry that we receive from all of our stuff because of the approval bonus that we're running in our law slot. So that's why that industry is at 9. Okay. We can also take a look at it from here. 10, 9, 10, 10. And it'll tell you when you mouse over what it's from. This is from Person of Means. This is from our hero's ability. Industrial Refrains. Cyber Farm. You can go to sleep. You can scout the last curiosity on that planet. And then head over to this system. Dark Glitter. So we've discovered Dark Glitter. Decreasing tensions in the galaxy led to a general increase in prices for luxury resources. So luxury resources are things we could potentially sell to the market for more dust if we wanted to. We don't have as much need for them as a lot of factions do. We now have this program, the Accelerator, which could be used to great effect with our next hack. And we're going to need to pick a new technology. It's got some recommendations here. So again, this one, interesting. Food is really, really important for us. Military, not so much. This actually could be very good. 25% extra science on happy sounds like a really fantastic one. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Our science is a little slow at the moment. And this event has stopped. Plus 20 on systems for 15 turns. We no longer have this in effect. That's going to affect our approval quite significantly, and we're going to want to take a look at that to see if we can't fix it. We got a probe here. Let's grab that one, I guess. And this guy's got 4 probes. So life pods away. Interesting. Battle tactic. Hyperium load. Titanium enhancer. That could be good. Projectile damage boost. And better slugs. We'll go ahead and analyze the planet for another free science at the cost of a small amount of science per turn. Transvine is something we've discovered. Alright. Where does this guy need to go? We can move up here, or we could just start heading this direction. I think this ship is going to go ahead and finish up these curiosities, so we'll just send him this direction. And actually, we'll send him that direction like that. Alright, hacking operations. We have one free hacking operation, and I want to run it from here to there. That's going to take 13 turns, but we have the accelerator now that I can put there, which once this gets to this node, this accelerator will kick in and make this second half faster. Can I run an accelerator here? Yeah, it won't let us run it there. But we could go ahead and encrypt, so that will make it a little harder for us to get traced if we do happen to get discovered when we go through these guys' system. Okay, how many turns did we say that was going to take? Like 13, and this is at 24, so we might be able to get this completed. We'll play one more turn, and then I'm going to end the video for today. Awesome, so we got the Endless Research Park done, so we completed the first major. I'm going to go ahead and grab the second point in that for now. We're not really bandwidth starved at the moment. And more industry and more food is always a good thing. Alright, we've successfully hacked. We're going to go ahead and start abducting sleepers. So we'll grab that one. And that will give us the ability to run a new hack. From here to there in 3 turns. So we were the first to complete that wonder. They have assimilated the amoeba, which means that we're now hacking through their system instead of the amoeba's system. And we've discovered super spuds. Everybody's favorite. Alright. We only need one more probe to finish this off. And then we're going to head back to home. Or at least to a friendly system and see if we can't retrofit this guy. Alright, so let's go back to our main system real quick. I have this new building. I want to put it at the top of the queue. If you hold down Alt and you click a building, it will put it at the top of the queue for you. In 3 turns, we'll get this, and this is going to add plus 20 per planet. Okay. These guys need to go on the systems that have the most resources. Oh, let's see. Our approval is still really, really good. So we're going to be just fine with this. There's no need to run these populations on this slot. There's no difference between this and this planet. So we can actually move those 2 over there. Now again, this curiosity may provide a benefit and make this planet more valuable. And right now, the titanium and hyperium deposits are doing that for this, which is why I am filling this one completely full. But let's take a look at these guys. These Umbral Shadows. These are the sleepers that you send on a spying mission and then bring them back. They get extra bandwidth, extra science, and ×2 on all of the exploits for the planet. So basically they're getting double this. 8, 6, 8, and 6. Oh, also our hero now providing 16 and 16 because we put that extra point instead of 8 and 8. And another thing to remember with the Umbral Shadows is they actually have a separate one of these, and we do want to buy that from the market. So a couple of spuds, super spuds, we'll just buy 2 of them for now, and we can run that booster as well. It's only going to increase these traits again, not anything great. The +3 and the +3 here, so it just adds a little bit more to these. Doesn't actually do much for this other stuff, but that's fine. Alright, anything else that we can get done this turn? We have 2 hacks currently running, and they won't be done for several turns, so I think this is actually a good place to go ahead and wrap up the video for today. Hopefully the microphone sounded better, and hopefully you guys are learning something along with me. I've learned quite a bit about this faction, both from watching SB play, from watching a few other YouTube videos and reviews, reading some stuff on them, and then obviously playing them myself. So if you have any advice, any tips, any things that I'm missing, please point them out in the comment section below. I'll do my best to mention them in the next video. We are going to do at least one more of these and get to turn 40, and that's where I'll decide whether I want to continue this game on camera or if we'll just start a new one. But I'm definitely going to be playing some more Endless Space 2 for you guys. I'm also waiting for a major patch to come out for Battlefleet Gothic before I jump into it. One of the things in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2, game that I was really hyped for that I am not very happy with, is the way that they've reworked the boarding mechanic, which in the old game was kind of interesting, but not really all that. It was a good balance of being very simple and also having an effect that was meaningful. I think boarding in the current state of the game is unreasonably effective, and they're looking at a way to change how that mechanic works. They reworked it entirely from the old game. It's very different from the old game, and they're going to try and fix it. There's definitely been a lot of people complaining about it, just not feeling right. It's not that it's bad. I do think it's a little overpowered in its current state, but it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like boarding should. And so they've addressed in their first patch, the bug fix patch, that they're working on a new boarding mechanic that might fit the theme and flavor of the game a little better. So read their comment about it if you're interested in finding more out about it. But I'm hopeful that they do indeed improve that greatly, and I'll probably be playing some of the campaign for you guys once that does go live. I've been playing it off camera a little bit, just to see how it feels, and against the AI it's not bad. Against players, the boarding mechanic as it was, or eventually will be, it's way too easy to take advantage of it. So that being said, there's some other games on the horizon that I would really like to play for you guys and get some more information out there, so I'm going to try and get those on the channel as well. But I am dealing with some minor health issues. I had my wisdom teeth pulled recently, which is why I haven't been on camera for a while. But I'm doing a lot better now, so hopefully you guys are all having a great day, and we'll see you next time.